Hello, Anime Donkey here for another versus battle analysis. Let's settle this once and for all. Aizen vs Madara. The god of deception versus the god of war. Madara fans love to throw around infinite Tsukimi, the 10 tails, and meteors. But today, we're going to break down why Aizen absolutely destroys Madara, both in power, speed, and hacks using real statements, feats, and lore from Bleach and Naruto. One of the most common arguments for Madara is genjutsu, whether it's Tsukimi, Sharingan-based illusions, or infinite Tsukimi. But that completely fails against Aizen. Why? Because his sword spirit acts like a tailed beast and breaks all forms of genjutsu as mentioned in my other video. So even if Madara casts Tsukimi and if somehow Aizen gets trapped in a genjutsu, the sword itself will break him out, similar to how Naruto characters break genjutsu with pain or chakra disruption, but automatic. His sword manipulates all 5 senses through complete hypnosis, and once someone has seen the sword activate, even once they are permanently affected unless Aizen allows them out. He doesn't just cast illusions, he rewrites what people perceive as real. Unlike genjutsu mechanism, there is no way to break out of the hypnosis unless you can touch his blade, which he no longer needs in his post-Muken form where he is fused with it. Aizen also managed to hypnotize the Quincy King just by being in his spiritual pressure range. When they were communicating in Muken, they were not actually face to face like in the animation, they were using spiritual pressure, and just being near him immense range he was affected. Let's talk about speed, where Naruto characters are massively overrated. The most popular argument is that Madara used Light Fang, which is light speed, therefore, anyone who reacted to it must be light speed. Wrong. Light Fang is not a beam of straight light, it's a rotating beam of straight light attack. If it were a true vertical light beam, it would be called something like light piercing, not Light Fang. You can clearly see Naruto leaning sideways to dodge the attack, not backwards. There is a huge difference moving out of Light's vertical speed and moving out of a rotating head's direction. The databook is full of hyperbole. People who actually believes those are stupid, as Temari will already be able to destroy the universe. The 4th Ryukage claimed to move at light speed. Yet he needed his assistant's teleportation jutsu to travel fast to the battlefield to Madara. They even mention how the human body would be destroyed if you tried to move that fast physically, meaning Ryukage himself couldn't move at light speed, else he would just have gone to the battlefield on his own without waiting for the jutsu preparation. Compare that to Bleach. In early Bleach arcs, literal fodder Soul Reapers dodge vertical light beams, with consistent direction and speed, making their reactions a lot faster than any shinobi. By the time Aizen reaches his final transformations, he blitzes characters who can blitz characters who dodge light. It's exponential scaling. Espada number 7, creates visible afterimages through raw speed, which are actual light clones to be visible to the eye. And Aizen clowns on all of them in base form. After fusing with the Hogyoku, and especially post-Muken, Aizen reaches levels of speed that Madara cannot even perceive. Madara never fought anyone near light speed. Aizen's opponents are much faster. Personally, I still think light speed is a bit of a stretch for characters who cannot transform into light itself to move at light speed. There is probably a boost in speed, but the base speed does not start at light speed for sure, but we will still play the game. Madara needed the 10 tails, the god tree, and chakra of all living beings on the planet just to put living beings on the surface of the planet into infinite Tsukimi. This is a planetary level feat, not large star or solar system BS you hear from other YouTubers. Aizen's hypnosis affects a 5th dimensional being confirmed in the Year-Blood-War arc. Just being able to modify, create or destroy a single timeline is already more impressive than destroying 10 galaxies, because a single timeline is equivalent to a whole universe. The Soul King and Yhwach Almighty lets them see infinite number of timelines, but most importantly modify anything inside them. Now listen carefully, the passive effect of the Almighty, where any powers seen in the future sight are nullified passively. So no Almighty is not vulnerable because of illusions in general, but because Aizen's hypnosis effects evolved and became transcendent due to the Hogyoku, therefore was on the same 5th dimensional level as the Almighty's effect, even though he has less spiritual pressure. Naruto genjutsu are fodder techniques compared to that. Almighty's passive effects negated Ichiba's concept manipulation that affected the whole cosmology, where he controls all of darkness in the world and can force ability nullification. The scale of the monk's nullification power is beyond infinite. Tsukuyomi, how much darkness can be extracted from the visible sky? As much as the universe is visible and stripping 100 nights in the future of its darkness. Well, if you have a brain, I don't need to say more. Now moving on to power, Aizen probably cannot destroy a universe, but don't be mistaken, he can still defeat a lot of universe buster using only his hypnosis. The hypnosis will still work on a universe buster even if Aizen does not have as much power. At the end of the manga, the Quincy King was going to destroy the dimension of Soul Society after piercing Ichigo, only to realize he fought Aizen the whole time. The most impressive part is that Aizen managed to deactivate the King's Universe Buster attack without him knowing. But this is going a bit off tracks. Madara has even less power. The only thing Madara did in his final form was to cause fear to all shinobi. Meanwhile, Aizen in his earlier forms can erase beings from existence just by being near them. Imagine Might Guy in his final form touching Aizen, he won't exist after a single punch. Now a lot of you will bring up his perfect Susanoo and truth-seeking orbs, which are all irrelevant because Aizen's passive spiritual pressure can already passively erase existence of anything physical. Picture this, can Madara just flex chakra to destroy a country far away? The answer is no. He needs to form a technique like Good Adama, but surprise, Aizen can just flex his spiritual pressure to bring down the royal palace. Imagine he uses Hado 33 fully with full incantation and uses the spiritual pressure that could bring down the royal palace to power it. The God Tree alongside Madara will be wiped out of existence in seconds. The last factor is Aizen's immortality, which is not like the cheap version that Madara has. After Ichigo's final Getsuga Tensho erased him from existence, he just came back. It is also mentioned that nobody in Soul Society has a mean to kill him even with all of their existence erasure techniques, and that the most they could do was limit his range. After his fight with Ichigo, the only thing he lost was the ability to adapt and fire off his monster form's energy blast. As a special mention, Limbo clones will not be able to perceive him either. Kubo mentioned that even using a camera, Aizen's hypnosis will work, so even if you indirectly try to sense him. Even if the entire Uchiha clan Madara included stood against Aizen, they wouldn't even realize they already lost. Under Kyoka Suigetsu's complete hypnosis, their senses would be deceived, their actions meaningless, and their fate sealed before a single hand sign could form. In the end, it wouldn't be a fight. It would be a quiet, one-sided execution. Did I miss anything? Drop it down below.